Hey Sammy fam, today we are making ourselves a pan pizza because I have not had one in a while and I would like to because I love that crunchy crust you get on a pan pizza, and that's all starting with right here. This is garlic butter and olive oil. Just, nuked the butter in the microwave so it got all melty. I'm just gonna coat the pan and the sides so everything that comes in contact with that dough is gonna be buttery and get us that, like, I always think of it as like a Pizza Hut kind of flavor of like the fried exterior of the dough because it was in that oiled pan. When I was a little kid in elementary school, I used to always do the Book It program, which Book It was a reading program where you had a little pen with like a series of 5 empty star markers on it, and every time you read a book and wrote a book report on it, you got a star. And once you filled up the pen with the 5 stars from your book reports, you got a free personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut. And that's the only way I could get my parents to take me to Pizza Hut. And I love Pizza Hut. Because my parents were health nuts, but they're also free food nuts, which we weren't poor, but my dad sure liked to think we are. But I mean, that's good. That's good habits to have in your life. So I'm going to be using this store-bought dough here. I've had it just sitting out for like 12 hours to help rise it. And this, store-bought frozen dough, guys, there's no shame in it. It saves you a lot of time. It's really good. It's better than what I usually make at home on my own, and it saves me from destroying my kitchen with flour. But I need scissors. Come on out here, dough ball friend. So you can tell it has a good hydration to it already. Get this in kind of a circular shape. It's gonna, expand some in the pan, but we want it to mostly fill out the pan already when we get it down. So that's how we get the crispy edges. Work it out gently. This might take a second, and that's okay. This is one delicious way to moisturize your hands. Garlicky. Okay, so I washed my hands so I can handle other things in the kitchen, and now we're gonna add our sauce. And today we are using, this is a leftover tomato and shrimp sauce that I made for pasta last week. There wasn't enough for more pasta, but I put it in the blender and just blended it all together, even the little chunks of shrimp in here. And it's tomatoey, basil-y, seafoody. It's real good. It's a little spicy. When I made this, I actually took the shells of the shrimp and I cooked them in butter and olive oil for a while, and then strained the butter out and threw away the shells. So even just like the base of the sauce already had that shrimpy flavor in it. So good. Make this nice and saucy. And this is gonna have to bake for a while, guys. Like 350 Fahrenheit for probably 30 minutes, maybe 35. Just keep an eye on it. You'll be able to smell it, and you can kind of peek up under the edge of this because hopefully you used enough butter that it will not stick, and you can see how crusty the outside's getting. But what we want to get is a crusty exterior, a nice fluffy interior. And I'm making it nice and saucy, and we're gonna make it very cheesy. Very cheesy. Daddy likes the cheese, especially on the thick crust, you know? You need the nice, moist, cheesy sauciness on top. So for our cheese here, I have a mix of Romano, a truffle pecorino, and a smoked mozzarella. Super good together. It's just, you know, 3 cheeses I bought at the store and ground up and mixed together to make a nice pizza mix. I've actually used it for a couple pizzas so far, and it does not disappoint. And we're gonna let it reach the edge of the pan because that is just gonna give us more crusty cheese around the edge. Kind of like, you guys ever had Detroit style pizzas cooked in like a square metal pan? Usually a blue steel pan if you can get it. But this is gonna be reminiscent of that Detroit style. At least I hope. I love any kind of pan pizza. Grandma pizza, which you just cook in like a regular kind of walled like sheet pan. Oh, grandma pizza's so good. Now, the trick with grandma pizza though, guys, before we move on to the pepperoni, is you gotta spread the dough out in the pan and then let it rise for like 30 minutes. Or proof, I guess. Now we're just using the pepperoni cut myself because I like these thick slices, you know? I like the way they curl up on top of the pizza. Now the grocery store by me didn't used to carry this kind of pepperoni, and so I've been adjusting my pizza making right now because it's the only grocery store I can go to, even though I wanted pepperoni. Had to come up with more creative ideas, but guys, they started carrying it now in the deli section, and I just love this pepperoni. It's buy in a stick, cut it yourself. Let's go ahead and mess up our pattern just to get more pepperoni on here. Who cares about a pattern? It's all about flavor, and we want it to be nice and spicy. And there's going to be another spicy ingredient going on after it's cooked, actually. Oh, that looks delicious. I'm going to hit it with a couple splatters of sauce on top. Just even more here. This will help just make it look pretty, you know. The sauce and the cheese commingling. Get back here, pepperoni. You ain't gonna escape. The sauce is so good. And one more thing before we put it in the oven. Well, actually, 2 more things. Let's hit it with a little bit of just dried oregano. If you have fresh, that's cool too, but dried's fine for this. I love oregano on a pizza. If you have crushed red pepper, that's also nice. I am unfortunately out. And I'm gonna add some more just garlic powder here. And this will just cook down into all the cheese and the sauce and be extra garlicky. I like that sharp flavor we're going for. I like punch in your face, spicy, tangy, aggressive pizza right now. Put this in the oven. I'm guessing 30 minutes, but you just gotta go by smell and feel. Hey Sammy fam, look at this delicious crispy edge pizza. Ended up taking about like 40 minutes, but I think it's so worth it. It's so thick and juicy. Sorry if you guys can hear music banging in the background, but there's a guy in my building who calls himself DJ Tony, but I think the only thing he DJs is himself getting high in his apartment most afternoons. And this afternoon, he's been going at it for a few hours. And I went and knocked on his door, politely but firmly. And of course, you know, he didn't answer it. I could hear him moving around behind the door there, though, so I'm pretty sure he saw me, but didn't want to open it because he's too high. Man, it's been a rough day between that and I saw a dead body in the park today. All blue, and luckily someone else had gotten to it first and had called the police or 911, and they were waiting there, but he was gone, so I didn't have to deal with it. I walked by as quickly as possible. didn't pull a Jake Paul or Logan Paul or whatever. I'm not that kind of terrible person, but I need a drink, so I'm gonna have some Vernors. Drink of Champions here. It's got a nice bite to it. It's basically a ginger ale that's like extra fizzy, so it can hit you hard, but it also has the nice smoothness of vanilla. Oh, that is fantastic. A Michigan treat. Thank you, Michiganders, and my wife, a Michigander, for introducing me to Vernors. Look at this beautiful cheesy pizza, though. This is how we're gonna get happy. Buttery crust. It's so hot and spicy. I have one more thing I want to add to it. I'm gonna add some Mike's Hot Honey. It's gonna add the perfect amount of sweet heat. If I can figure out how to open this. There we go. Mike's Hot Honey is super good on pizza, especially with pepperoni. Just a little touch. It's all you need. Look at that. Look at the interior of that crust. That's beautiful. And the super savory sauce. It's reminded me of the good things in life. Oh. Look at this dirty girl. Mi linda cochina. You know what I saw that was beautiful this morning? I was out taking a walk and I saw a young cat walking along next to a brownstone, and I turned the corner and it had gone into the kind of unkempt garden full of like flowering weeds and stuff. It was so pretty. Thank you, pretty kitty. Later on the same walk I saw another kitty, but it was scared of me and it was running away, and it ducked into a kind of junkyard area. I feel so guilty I can't offer the kitties pets right now. But after this is over, I'll be petting all the neighborhood cats. This is so cheesy, so decadent. That sweet heat of the honey. I feel like I'm in a bowling alley bar that has surprisingly good pizza, but it's still, you know, oily and nasty and down home. Good, that good dirty food, you know. Nothing pretentious. Again, guys, look at the crumb. Look at that. Wow. So fluffy, but with the crusty cheese. I feel like pan pizza is often overlooked. People are always talking about New York style versus Chicago style. Chicago deep dish, of course. And actually, neither of those are really my favorites. I like a crispy thin crust, but I like more of a Chicago bar style thin crust, or just in general bar thin crust, which is usually party cut in squares and the thinner, crispier crust. St. Louis has their own version of this. It's a cracker thin, unleavened crust. So crunchy, and then they use their Provel cheese on it, which some people hate, but I love. But then pan pizza is never much talked about. Detroit pizza is kind of having a renaissance. You see it online a lot, but that's a different thing where you use Wisconsin brick cheese and then the sauce goes on top instead of underneath. And don't get me wrong, I love that. But just the classic pan holds a special place in my heart, I guess, from the childhood memories I told you about, but... This takes me back. With this much pepperoni, I'm gonna need a lot of water after this. You guys ever get that thing where you have like a pizza party night and then just the rest of the evening you're just drinking water nonstop? There's a lot of salty foods, salty meats. And look at the curl. The cupping on these thick cup pepperoni. That's why I love them so much. Gotta cut your own thick pepperoni. I really don't like the style of like the giant thin pepperonis on a pizza. I think like that kind of pepperoni should be reserved for a sandwich. And some people put those on a pizza and try to make it look like, oh, it's fancier. But I just think it's worse. I just want a big chunk of pepperoni. Not a thin, dainty serving. Another one of my favorite things to do with pan pizza is you don't have to keep it traditional with the toppings. It's a lot of fun to make a pan where you use like a cream cheese on top instead of a tomato sauce. And then like some bacon or something like that, a breakfast meat cut up across it. Like drop it all over there. Maybe some onions. And then when it's close to finished cooking, you crack an egg in the middle and just kind of swirl it around with your finger or with a chopstick or whatever, fork. And it'll cook up gently on the top as you remove it from the heat of the oven. And you get this like delicate egg covered breakfast pizza. You can hit it with like a shake of everything bagel seasoning. Oh my. Wow, this is really filling. I think I can do one more slice. Ooh. Soda got me. That Werner's is like extra carbonated. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's some cheesiness. What's your guys' favorite type of pizza? Do you like pan pizzas? Did any of you do the Book It Club in elementary school? I don't know if they still do that deal with Pizza Hut. There aren't really Pizza Huts around here, at least, anymore. The last one I knew of got turned into like a medical office a year or two ago. It was down next to Prospect Park. You can order pan pizza from Domino's, and they're okay. They're not this good, but they're okay. I'd rather just make it myself at home because honestly it's fairly easy. Store-bought dough, you can use store-bought sauce, just shred up some cheese yourself. Whatever toppings you want. The hardest part is waiting, but I mean, if you order it, you have to wait for it to be made and delivered, so not that much longer at home. I love you, baby girl. Thank you for tasting so good. Oh yeah, my stomach overflow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Wow. So tasty, guys. Make yourself a pan pizza at home. Got a cast iron pan. Or if you got like a sheet pan, get a bunch of dough and stretch it out in it. Just oil it up first. Oh, that's so good. I'm gonna sleep all night. I feel much calmer and happier now after this. My anger and frustrations with the day have disappeared. Okay, I love you guys. I will see you later.